When was the last time you were inspired? How did it make you feel? Where did it lead you? For me, it's a simple picture post on Instagram that piqued my curiosity. So I reached out to the poster of the picture. Reaching out led me to meet a Desert Storm veteran. He spent 11 years in the United States Air Force, 7 seasons United States Armed Forces rugby team, and 20 more years with the Oklahoma City Police Department. He's now part of a coaching staff. He's the new community coordinator at Athlete Inc. My wife and I actually dropped into a few of the HIT classes at Athlete Inc. It's a human performance training facility created for athletes by athletes. Give them a visit, athleteinc.life. That's athleteinc.life. Sign up for a few of the drop-in classes. You won't regret it, from the staff to the owner to the members. Everyone is amazing. Everyone is helpful. Everyone is friendly. Before we dive into this podcast, Shannon McCarty, thank you so much for your strong courage to defend our great country. Only thing I need from you is count to 3, and I need a loud clap because that ties the audio and the video together so clap we can mesh it. Yeah, okay. Just a big loud one.
All right.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Defining Moments Podcast. My name is Wong Lam, and today's special guest is my man, Shannon McCarty. Shannon, welcome to the podcast, brother, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. First of all, dude, thank you so much for your selfless sacrifice to our great country.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. 11 years in the Air Force, 20 years Oklahoma State Police Department, and that includes stints with the FBI Task Force, DEA Task Force, undercover. You've played rugby. I feel unaccomplished, and I'm just feel so honored and privileged to be sitting in the same room with you today.
Likewise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it, man. Likewise.
A few months ago, I don't know if you recall this, but on Instagram, this is how we met. I saw a picture that you'd taken of 4 gentlemen sitting there. They had the stoic look. And I love that picture because I Instagrammed you and I was like, hey, that picture tells a story. Their facial body language, tells a story. And so you told me about the VA, etc. And so I was like, man, this is really cool. One message led to another, and ever since then we've had coffee just about every other week and shared really great stories. So I appreciate the friendship.
No problem. No problem. Some great conversations. Yeah. Which is hard to come by.
Yeah, that's very true, man. So how are you doing today?
Good, man. Feel good. Just had a workout, at Athlete Inc. and feel great.
Yeah.
I'm just blessed.
Yeah, you talk about Athlete Inc. So is this a gym where anyone can go to, or what's Athlete Inc.?
Yeah, it's a gym anybody can go to. It's a membership gym. You pay monthly fees. A little higher than, say, a Globo gym. A little cheaper than CrossFit, but it's an outstanding place. I mean, they train everybody from everyday people like me to elite college athletes to professional football and baseball players.
Yeah, yeah. So when you go through this in the morning, you talk about everyday people like you. You're probably, in my opinion, you're more unique than me. I'm the everyday person. So how would I stand if I go to that gym?
Then you do well. I mean, the reps add up. The reps burn me as well as they do you, as well as they do that NFL guy that comes in there.
Yeah.
Burn is burn. Lactic acid burn is lactic acid burn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody's treated the same.
I like it, man.
I mean, you'll be post-workout, we sit around and talk and, and chop it up, and it's me, it's you, it's this Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowl football player.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about life.
That's awesome, man.
And you would never know unless you're a fan of athletics.
Yeah.
You would never know who he is unless they told you.
Yeah.
So there's no arrogance. No, I'm over here and you're over there. It's all, everybody's the same.
That's phenomenal, man. I love that. So that I could walk in and I could work out with a guy like you, guys in the NFL, MLB, basketball, collegiately, and housewives probably, just hanging out, just working out.
Unless you're a sports fan, you wouldn't know who half these guys were.
Yeah.
You know they're strong and they're fast.
Right.
But unless, somebody will say, hey, that's so-and-so, you Google and, well, yeah, that's him or her.
Yeah.
Because there's some elite female athletes to go there also.
Yeah.
So it's a great place.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yep.
You talked about enjoying life. How does Shannon enjoy life, man?
Man, I get up in the morning early. I'm a hopeless early bird.
Yeah.
I'm up and out of bed at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day.
Wow.
And I get up, I go straight to the kitchen. I turn on the water, boil it, put it in my French press.
Yeah.
3 tablespoons of coffee. 4 minutes later, I press it, have a cup of coffee. I turn on my morning news. Got several news podcasts that I listen to.
Yeah.
And then after that, I get dressed, head out the door, and I'm working on a memoir.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to nearest coffee house, and I sit down and I type for a couple hours.
Wow.
So that's what I do. I'm just still lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And set my own schedule every day.
Yeah.
So,
man, sounds good.
Yep, love it, man. I mean, I'm like I said, I just feel blessed to be able to put my life to where I can do that.
Yeah.
And not have to go to work if I choose not to.
Yeah.
So,
when you talk about life, do you ever think back to your life and think about moments that might have changed you, might have molded you to where you are today?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What's if you don't mind sharing with our listeners, what might be a moment or two, I call them defining moments, that you've gone through?
The earliest one in my life is a teenager. I'm from Hugo, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom and dad separated, and my mom and I moved to El Paso, Texas to live with my aunt. And so El Paso was the home of Fort Bliss Army Post,
Mm-hmm.
huge Army post. And at that point, I had never been around military guys other than I seen them on TV.
Yeah.
There's no military presence in my hometown. So we're out one day, mall, food court, and we're eating some of my buddies, my cousins and my buddies are eating. We're teenagers. We look over, next table over, is about 4 or 5 young Army guys and BDUs. And so we talked, and they look very young. Mm-hmm. My perception of military guys are always old. I've got some Vietnam vet uncles, but they're my uncles, so I figured that you have to be like that age to be in the Army.
Yeah.
So I leaned over and said, hey, you guys in the Army? Yeah. How old are you? Well, one said I'm 18, 19. I'm like, well, I'm 17.
Yeah.
So you joined the Army at 18? He said, yeah, actually you can join at 17. Mm-hmm. I said, I think I'm joining the military.
Yeah.
At that moment, the light came on. I think that's what I want to do.
Wow.
So a few days later, go back to school, and we're in the lunchroom, and in walks this young Air Force, he's in a blue uniform, blue shirt, dark blue pants, Air Force recruiter, and so he comes to our table, sits with us, starts talking to us, real sharp, young Hispanic guy. And I'm like, man, you must be in the Air Force. So yeah. And this is literally the first person in the Air Force I've ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, I think I'm going to join the Air Force instead of the Army. Because this guy came to our table and was talking to us, gave me a card, and went to the recruiting office and went through all the tests and everything, took the test, passed, and got into the Air Force.
Wow.
So, and that was literally seeing those young Army guys at the table next to us is literally when the light came on, what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Yep.
Did you do any research after you committed? It's like, yeah, I'm going to join the Air Force.
The only research that I did, they showed us some cool videos of some guys in the Air Force of some guys wearing berets and shooting guns and parachuting. I said, yeah, I want to do that. He's like, you sure? I was like, oh, I'm positive. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So when had some further testing, stuff mm-hmm. like that, and qualified for it, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So, and it was as thrilling after going through the training as it was watching that video. I mean, it was like I was that kid that, that type of thing just, it appealed to me.
Yeah.
And I was an athletic kid.
Yeah. So
I didn't really have any problems with the athleticism, the running, the physical training, the pull-ups and push-ups. So to me, I was just like living a dream, literally. I was wanting to be in the military, and here I am in the military.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I had a great time in the military. I had no complaints about being in the military.
Yeah.
So
when you first started and joined the Air Force, you had to go through some type of physical training, Hell Week, something like that. When you went through those type of trainings, were you thinking, dude, man, I don't know if I made the right decision? Yeah,
there were some times where I wondered, literally like, what have I got myself into? And because I went to basic training, seemed to be kind of a shock. You know what I mean? I adjusted to it, graduated basic training. I went to tech school, And that's when it got, as they say, it got real.
Yeah.
It was not basic training, way more intense, way more push-ups, way less sleep. And there were certain times that if I had not been around, there was times that when you're on the PT pad and you look over and the other guy might be shitting a tear or something.
Oh man.
Or you see guys, or you hear guys like kind of like I don't know, like sobbing like when we were in the dorms at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, and there was some point, I feel like I think I'm gonna find something easier to do. I'm gonna do something different. And I had a guy on my in my class, an older guy. He came from the regular Air Force. He had been in the Air Force for about 10 years. I'm like, man, I think I'm done with this, man. I can find something better to do.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, just don't quit. Is this what you want to do? I was like, oh yeah. So he goes, just don't quit, man. You're doing good. Just don't quit. So it was a guy in my flight, which is like your class, that literally like one conversation with him and like walking down the hall is what kept me from like quitting and trying to do something else or even going home. Because I was considering quitting at one point because it was getting a little overwhelming.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but he's like, just don't quit, man. You're doing well. We're almost done. This is a 2-weekend doc, man. You got 2 weeks. This is like week 7 or something. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
And so I stuck it out, and it wasn't for him that I probably would have quit.
Wow.
So,
what was the feeling like once you made it those 2 weeks?
Felt great. Felt like I accomplished. Felt like literally like I found out that I had been like literally living in the comfort zone probably my whole life. Even though I played football, I was always a pretty good athlete. So even the football training we went through was difficult.
Yeah.
But I never felt like I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
So looking back even looking back then, what happened was I got pushed way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I saw what it was like, the reward of sticking it out and not quitting. So it felt good. It's even now it still feels good.
Yeah.
So, and I was 18 then.
Man.
So, oh yeah, I'm literally glad I still did it to this day.
Yeah.
So, and that was my first foray my first trip outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
In my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
yeah, because we live in, for lack of a better phrase, I believe we all live in a certain box, a certain zone that we are all in. And every time when we meet up and we have this coffee, and I feel great energy, and you called it the energy exchange,
right?
Which I've adopted. I'm like, man, that is such a great phrase. Is the exchange of energy. What kind of energy are you exchanging, and do you like it or not?
Right. It's got to be positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you have the choice to not participate in it if it's negative. So, that's what it is. I feel like this person was just doing this.
Yeah.
Like the little internet, the little computer deal, and you see the 2 arrows when your phone is getting service. Yeah. That's literally what it is. Yeah. At least that's how it feels to me.
Yeah.
So,
how do you deal with negative energy when, let's take it to the Air Force? Was there negative energy with maybe some of your colleagues or some men in your group?
Yeah, I mean, you have personality conflicts. I mean, you got a lot of young guys from all over the place. Right. So negative energy comes from just it can come in terms of racial issues. It can come in terms of economic issues. And some of the guys come from, pretty poor kids, right, like I was, and some of these guys come from pretty affluent families. And so you get young, 18, 19-year-old guys living in barracks, type A guys living in the barracks. That energy exchange can get pretty volatile. Yeah. Shooting, I mean, it'll come out over politics on the TV, sports, girls, or what have you. And so when I dealt with it back then was, I didn't really deal with it very well. So I usually end up in some kind of like altercation, a fist fight or something. You end up in front of the man getting yelled at, in front of the first sergeant getting yelled at. As I got older, I became an NCO, which is a non-commissioned officer. Then I learned to deal with it in a more appropriate way. Yeah. Which is like, you got to work it out, talk it out or whatever. But early on, it always revolved into a fist fight or almost a fist fight. Yeah. That's just the way, up in that point in my life, that's just the way I was as a teenager that I dealt, with boys in school. You got a problem with another guy, you meet him behind the bleachers. Yeah. You bring where you're from to where you're at, to the military. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and that's what we did. So we go out to this little area behind our unit. It was literally like a field that had these big weeds. And there was somebody used lawnmower and cut a big square out of it. And you couldn't see what was out there because the weeds were taller than the people. And we put these big gloves on. and one of the squad leaders would come out and say, all right, and you wearing a helmet and this big Vietnam era flak vest, and you go at it, and these gloves are so big you can't possibly really hurt each other, and you would just go at it and wrestle and throw blows until both people are winded.
Yeah.
And once they're winded, you stand up and you'd hear something like, all right, you guys done with this? We're done with it. I don't hear no more about this. Let's go back to work. And that was usually it. Those days have changed in the military. That's probably not acceptable way of solving problems in the military today. But back then, that was the deal. It was the tail end of the Vietnam era, and so our command and our supervision were all Vietnam guys, and that's what they did during those times. So it was acceptable. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure not so much anymore. Yeah. Now I just deal with negative energy. Just if the person is a relative or a family or a friend, I try to help them out. Yeah. If they're a stranger or somebody that I don't feel like I need to spend my time dealing with, I just kind of avoid them. So. Yeah.
What happens when, let's say, it's obviously 2019 and you're on social media and all of a sudden you gain a few followers, they befriend you, you befriend them, and then all of a sudden you start noticing, hey, their tweets or their posts are becoming more divisive, negative. And now, let's not talk about politics or racial, but they just become, man, my day sucks, or I hate this, I hate that. What do you do? How do you deal with that?
In that case, if it's not a situation where they're insulting people or calling names, I might engage them and say, man, what's going on? Or just fight through it. Or, man, you gotta, I might even engage them in their inbox. Hey, what's going on, man? You want to talk about it? And if they react to that in a positive way, then I'll keep engaging them. Hey, I suggest you try this. I suggest you try that. Or maybe you should go here, talk to this person or that person. But if they engage, if they lash out, and if they're a stranger, then they get cut. Yeah. But if they respond, hey man, thanks for your input. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can continue to put that on my page as long as you respond to people's help in a positive way. Yeah. Don't start talking trash to them because they're trying to help you. And we're not. I'm just gonna block you because we don't have to put up with that. But if you respond to it, help in a positive way, then we'll continue to talk to you and engage you and help. But if you start talking trash to everybody, then you're cut. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How often do you think back to the one gentleman that told you not to quit when you're in the Air Force? And do you think that's helped you to this point on your energy and your positive attitude?
Oh yeah. That's the first person other than my father. When you're a kid and you're out playing somewhere and you're in school and you get bullied a little bit and you come home and your dad, you don't have to go back there and deal with that problem. Yeah. Other than that, and that issue with my dad wasn't really an issue about quitting. It was like dealing with bullies and dealing with life. Because I didn't want to go to school. He goes, you got to go to school. Yeah. He look around. Don't tell your mom I told you this. But when you go to school, it's like you have to deal with that because you got to go to school. Yeah. And everybody's watching. He's got to bully you. Everyone's going to bully you. So this is how I want you to deal with that. Yeah. So I did that. And so that was the first, but this guy was the first person that gave me any kind of encouragement similar to that, after I left home. Yeah. And it wasn't real. It was just like, man, just don't quit. Hand on the shoulder, don't quit, man. You're doing good. You're doing well, man. I don't know why you want to quit. I mean, everybody's in pain. Yeah. We're all suffering. It's not just you. So, just stick it out, man. And I think you'll be happy if you do. And that was it. I mean, the guy lived was in a whole different squad, so I never seen him except going outside. And we happened to meet just like fate. Yeah. Because if he had not been there that day, I wouldn't have this part of my history of my life being in the military.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he had been in the military for like 10 years already. Wow. And he was retraining into this career field. So he had life experience. He's already an E5, so he already had stripes. So he had been in the military for a while. So he had life experience, and he just told me just don't give up. Yeah. And he goes, I don't know why you want to give up because you're doing well. But looking back, it's just I was just outside my comfort zone. Yeah. I've never been physically and psychologically tested to the point that I feel like I wanted to quit. Yeah. Until that, because even football and anything, I never felt like I wanted to quit. Yeah. But there was days in a row where I was like, man, I got to find a way to quit.
Yeah. No, you know what I
mean? And he was like, just don't do it, man. Just you're doing well. Everybody suffered. Yeah. Everybody here is feeling the same pain you are. Yeah. So just he said, quote, just ride it out. Yeah. And that's what I did. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. And then you deployed and you're a Desert Storm veteran.
Mm-hmm.
How was that deployment like for you? What did it feel like going there, staying there, and coming back to the United States?
I think the hardest part about that first deployment was because I was married at that time and I had kids. I
Mm.
think my first deployment, my daughter was like, I want to say like 9 months old maybe.
Wow.
So I'd be away from my then wife, now ex-wife, and kids. So that was the hard part. The deployment was what we all trained for. So it was just doing our job, but just over here. So I mean, but probably like most guys, the hardest part was being away from my, freshly married, new kid. That was the hard part.
Yeah.
So, and I was 22 maybe out, and I was young also. Still,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get life experience till you get a certain age. I was
21
21 is not really a lot of life experience.
Right.
So I was young. So it was hard just being away from my family.
Yeah.
And back then there was no internet, no Facebook, so you had to call with these MCI calling cards.
Oh yeah.
And, so it wasn't you couldn't FaceTime your family back then.
Right.
It was a letter, or they gave you a free call like every week or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough though, man, just being away from the family. But as far as work and doing the job, the work was work, so it wasn't an issue. I mean, I was trained, I knew what to do. Mm-hmm. I knew very well trained, knew what to do. It wasn't an issue. The issue was just being away from my family.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
When you came back to the United States, what was it feeling like when you stepped out of that plane?
Well, it felt great, man. It felt good to see your family again. Yeah. And just once you get that whole deal about getting used to being around your family again, the big deal is you feel like you went over and accomplished something. You feel like you feel like you get that, and you don't really get this feeling until you be around like civilians. Yeah. But then you get this feeling like you went over and you like literally you went to war. Yeah. And now you're back, so you feel like kind of like not like a hero, but you feel you don't feel your sense of accomplishment until you talk to other people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're telling you how like yeah, man, you guys are cool. And he's like, yeah, I guess we are pretty cool, huh? Yeah, you know what I mean? Then you start putting it into perspective, and then you start getting more of a feel. Because otherwise, you just feel like you're going to work every day. You know what I mean? That's literally what it is. Yeah. So.
And then from 11 years in the Air Force, you retired actually after 20 more years into the Oklahoma City Police Department. Mm-hmm. What was that transition like from military to you're also serving and protecting as well?
Yeah, the military is the police department is a tad bit different, culturally and than the military. Not better or worse, just a little different. And it was a bit of a change. In the police department, the big adjustment was you learn to work like on your own. Military is big on supervision. You got like all these levels of supervision. I mean, you got like where in the police department I might have one lieutenant between me and lieutenant. In the military, there would be three lines of supervision between me and that lieutenant. Oh wow! So there in the police department, you're taught more to work on your own. Mm-hmm. So we give you all these reference material, all these statute books and city ordinance books. You go on a call. You're expected to take care of that call without calling your supervisor. Mm-hmm. If you got a question, you call the most senior officer. You don't call the supervisor. Yeah. So that was a big adjustment because I was used to hey, call your supervisor. The military is big on call your supervisor, but so that was the biggest adjustment. Yeah. And then of course sometimes you get backlash from the public, like you get cussed out or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's always a shocker when you get that first cursing, or you get somebody curse you out or call your name. It's like that's always a shock. But then after a while, you get kind of numb to it. Yeah. So,
man, so as working with the police department, you had to deal obviously with a lot of the public, right? Mm-hmm. And nowadays on the news, you see or I see and hear about altercations with police officers and just the public in general. And I don't firmly believe that it's like that every day. It might be there are some cases out there. Mm-hmm. However, overall, I live in Moore, and I see the police, and they are the friendliest. Oklahoma City police are the friendliest too. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like sometimes, unfortunately, people judge and say, well, the police. Well, when you say the police, you're saying everyone in the police. Right. Instead of just maybe a certain group or troop. Right. Of officers. And I think that's unfortunate that we get misinformed.
It's very unfortunate. So I always say the news and the media kind of like, they pander to certain groups.
Mm,
And, advocating for somebody is one thing, but
right.
then there's a different definition. Pandering is another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of pandering going on, and they make things seem, generally in the media, you'll see the loud minority makes people think that that's how that entire group feels,
Mm,
because the majority is kind of silent.
yeah.
The regular, you know what I mean? So, and that's my opinion. Me and my girlfriend talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you got people who are from outside a certain community,
Mm,
and in their perception of a community is what they see on TV,
yeah.
they'll think that this whole group of people is mad at the police
Mm,
or whatever, but it's not even close to being that way.
right.
But the people the people who are just like, what's a good word? People who are like just cops, or just like you just described, are the majority of people.
Yeah.
But those
Absolutely.
but those people aren't on TV rioting.
Yeah.
The people on TV rioting are like this many people
Hmm.
from that huge group.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know that, then you'll think that everybody in that group thinks the way these people do,
Yeah.
which is not true.
Right.
Right. So,
Right.
and the media doesn't do anything to fix that
Hmm.
that little deficiency, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just, that's somewhat of opinion, but it's sort of, when I've noticed firsthand, because if we're talking about about the Black community,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
worked over on the East Side when I started out. Worked over there for like 2 years. We had one problem.
East side Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is predominantly Black side of town.
Okay.
Never had one problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I might ask people to curse me out, but it wasn't race. It was just because they didn't like, people don't like being pulled over by the police.
Mm.
You're going about your life. You're going to work or school. You don't want somebody stopping you.
Yeah.
Interrupting your day. Some people, that irritates them.
Mm.
So you get that you get that from them, and not really a race issue. So it's just. But some people believe that all Black people on the East Side hate cops, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
So I've never had an issue over their race-related issue on the East Side.
Wow.
I never had anybody call me anything related to my race.
That's
as
awesome,
as a
man.
police officer.
Yeah.
And it happens, but it happens so few times versus when it doesn't happen.
Hmm.
It's not really an issue.
Yeah.
So, but that one, if it happens, when it does happen, it's so made such a big issue that people think that's how the whole community thinks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like that's really unfortunate that it's a little 0.5% that happens.
Right.
And overall it gets blown up like, oh my gosh, it's a racial war out here. And,
right. Yeah.
I'm the same way. I've lived in Oklahoma 30 plus something years, and I've lived in Oklahoma City, lived in Moore. I've never had anyone be racially disrespectful to me.
Right.
So
now, don't get me wrong, police officers do some dumb stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we've seen it on TV. And when that happens, the officers, I've been sitting in a lineup room full of 20 police officers, and we watch something on TV, because usually we watch the news is on before we have lineup.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, he's done. Oh, that's effed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not what it's about. And you don't hear anybody approving of what they just saw on TV.
Yeah.
So we didn't condone nonsense and stupid stuff.
Right.
I mean, nobody likes that.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
Right.
Now, that was a time maybe 20 years, 30 years ago that was condoned. But times has changed, and that's not what it's about now. And you'll sit in a room with a police officer and hear that guy. They'll be like, he's fired. He's probably going to jail. He's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nobody, and just, around the room. So we didn't condone, misconduct.
Right.
Or lying, or shooting people when they didn't need to be shot.
Absolutely.
So that's not condoned within law enforcement at all.
Yeah.
But they don't come and ask us those questions as a group. They just ask other people that have other opinions about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not condoned. I've sit and watched a lot of dumb police actions on TV with other police officers, and everybody thought, oh, that guy's done. I mean, you even see guys like covering it, like, yeah, he's done.
Right.
He's done. Well, supervisors would be like, you guys better never do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a cop from another city. You guys better never do that, or you'll be done too, just like him. So,
Yeah, as we evolve from, like you said, 20, 30 years ago to present day, the history is there. It's not there for us to erase it. It's there for us to learn and be better from it. And I feel like for the most part, as the United States, or even as a world, we've become better because of history, whether it's good or bad. We've learned from it, and we've become better because of it.
Yep.
Right.
I've always believed that we can separate politics from law and order.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'd be much better off. It'd be more. You would get more honest things fixed in a more honest manner if you separate politics from it.
Yeah.
So politics always makes things murky and ambiguous. If you just separate politics from crime and justice, the community and the police issues would get fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably fix themselves, but politics just stokes whatever issue that group is against, or you know, so just, you know, so, and to me it's so obvious.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, too much emotion and not enough logic.
Right.
Think things through logically, rationally, and we're a better world for it if we do it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So transitioning from armed Air Force to being in the Oklahoma City Police Department and retiring, and while you're in there, you worked with the DEA and the FBI task force.
Right.
What was, let's say, one of the hardest things you had to do working with either of those federal agencies?
I can tell you from when I was a vice officer, which we worked prostitution, strip clubs, child prostitution, stuff like that, is when you deal with child prostitution. Because you literally, you're going on an undercover, and you're in a hotel room, and you've ordered some escort off the internet, and in walks a obvious 14, 15-year-old girl. You know what I mean? And those are, you know, obviously hard to deal with. I mean, they're different. I mean, it's not like because you're obviously not going to engage in any kind of sex act with her, obviously, or you might going to jail. Well, I'll be in jail also if I did that.
Yeah.
But you see her walk in, and you see how seasoned she is, so which tells you that she's been doing it for a long time. Then you think about what she's done as far as sex acts as a prostitute, and it's like, so you make the case against her, and you arrest her, and then you talk to her, and then I've been in this for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever. And then eventually you may or may not catch the pimp that sent her out there. And they're always hard to deal with because, you know, just morally, you know, you're always professional. So you can't slap them around or anything. Yeah. But you talk to these guys and they casually tell you how they pulled some girl from Facebook or, you know, off the internet or whatever. Or they're the same age and he started pimping her out in high school while he was also in high school.
Oh man.
And you know, and it's just crazy. And it's like, this is a 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl. Yeah. And this could be a 17, 18-year-old guy.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're schoolmates or classmates, they're in school. You know, so child prostitution is always hard to do because they're kids. You know, nobody wants to see kids, you know, sexually taken advantage of like that. So it's crazy.
Yeah. How do you deal with that mentally, professionally, when you are the officer that's undercover doing this?
You know, when they walk in the undercover setting, if you believe that she's underage, because you're just looking at her, she's not going to tell you she's 14 while she's being a prostitute. Yeah. You know, if I asked her that if she was 14 as a John, she'd probably just leave. You know, you're a cop, because nobody would ask her that. Would ask her that. So if she looks to be underage, then you avoid the whole get nude part, because if she's an adult, then you're allowed to get naked. If she says get naked, then you get naked. But if she looks to be 14, she says get naked, you probably don't get naked because she looks like a kid. Yeah. So you have to kind of like make the case against her in a different way, you know, and you kind of prevent her from getting naked if you can. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're going to get undressed. Yeah. But you try to avoid that if all possible. Especially if you look at it, this girl is 15 or 14. Yeah. Sometimes you might get a 21-year-old that looks 15. But if you think they're underage, then you should be trying to like not be nude and not kind of like not, you know, do anything. You try to refrain from talking lewd and getting naked around them because they're kids. Yeah. So even if the contact continues and you can verify she's underage somehow, then you just cut the operation. Yeah. And she's underage, so you just take her into protective custody. Yeah. And just call and then you just send her to DHS.
Oh man.
So, because and once you find out she's 14, then you can hold on to her even if she doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because she's a 14-year-old and she's here as a prostitute. So as
Mhm.
a police officer, you just call DHS, take her into protective custody.
Yeah.
There's no criminal charges, but she's off the streets.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Man, dude, going from the armed forces to Oklahoma City Police Department and retiring, what's been the toughest transition since retirement for you?
just having like nothing to do,
Yeah.
kind of a started out for the first month. My days were like really unstructured. Like I was when I first part was because I worked nights before I retired
Mm.
was to be able to sleep at night again. Took me about a month to be able to go to bed at 9 and sleep all night until 5, 4 or 5 in the morning. Got that down, so I get up in the morning, I'd have coffee, and I was literally just around the house all day. Literally watch TV. Girlfriend go to work in the morning, come home, I'm still sitting there watching TV.
Yeah.
And even though I'm retired, I felt like a slug. You know what I mean? Because I've been going to work since I was 17.
Mm.
So that's when I started. I started. Hanging out with old friends. I get up in the morning. I decided to write this memoir. So I said I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to leave the house and I'm going to go write this memoir at
Yeah.
Starbucks or at another buddy's smoothie shop up in Edmond, and I'm gonna have a structured day.
Yeah.
Then I started volunteering. So once I started volunteering, that kind of like fed the machine of getting up in the morning and going to work and doing something to help people rather than just sit around the house and watch TV all day.
Yeah.
So, but that first month was tough because I would literally just walk around the house.
Yeah.
I go in the front porch, look around. Then I go to the backyard and play with the dogs.
Yeah.
Then I come look at TV for a while. Then I go to the gym. Then I come home, take a shower. I would literally just walk around the house.
Yeah.
with nothing to do. I said, this can't continue. I gotta find something to do. So I started looking at volunteer work. Then my buddy of mine said, hey, y'all volunteer at VA.
Yeah.
Good idea. Went down there, got accepted. And I've been volunteering and I love it.
That's where that picture came
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, yep.
On
At
Instagram.
VA. Yep. At VA. That's
Yeah.
the morning. I call those guys the morning crew.
Yeah.
Because every morning they show up drinking coffee together.
Yeah.
And it's a great group of guys. I would say I'm helping them, but they're helping me.
Yeah.
So a great group of guys. A lot of war stories, man. A lot of life because they're all like way older than me.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 60s and 70s. Some of them in their
Yeah.
80s. Some of those guys are like 80-year-old like
Wow.
Korean War vets.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, literally, you look at their paperwork, and their like service time is like 1971 to like 1965 to 1975 or something. Literally, I mean,
Oh my goodness.
some guys are that old, or you see them at the console getting their appointments,
Mhm.
and they'll hit their birth year of like 1932 or something.
Yeah.
It's like that guy's born in 32,
Wow.
and you see Korean War, Vietnam War, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's great, yeah. And they're real talkative. They'll tell you war stories and just life. I mean, you get everything from them guys. Some of them are homeless. Some of them used to be homeless.
Uh-huh.
Some of them are pretty affluent, and they still come up here every day just to hang out.
Wow.
Yeah, there's one guy that's not. He's probably a millionaire. He comes here every day, buys everybody Starbucks, sits there and talks to everybody, and then he goes home. I was told by another volunteer that guy's pretty much wealthy.
Wow.
But he's a veteran. He comes up here, hangs out with these guys, and buys everybody Starbucks and donuts, and then he leaves every morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably a unique bond.
Yeah. Yep.
I would imagine.
Yep. They all argue about which military was best, and then they argue about politics, and then they argue about sports, and then they argue about which person was in the war, was in the hardest part of the war.
Yeah.
And then they go home. every morning. Yeah. So it gets loud. You have, hey guys, you got to keep it down. This is a hospital. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty cool though.
Man, you've had a really amazing life so far. If you had to go back and tell your younger self one thing, what do you think you'd tell your younger self?
I would probably say just calm down. It's not all about me. You know what I mean? There's other people in the world. I was kind of impatient. They like to stand in line. Mm-hmm. Everybody was on the road. Wasn't my way. Yeah. So I would just consider others, and just it's not all about me. Consider other people, mm-hmm. And that's basically it. And just be patient. You can't do everything in one day. You know what I mean? Just calm down, and be patient, and consider other people. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you seem like you know a lot of people, and you talk to quite a few people. Mm-hmm. And actually an inspiration to a lot of people, and to me for sure.
I appreciate it.
Who are 3 people you would love to call or meet in person if there's no social media involved?
3 people. One would be my father, who passed away a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one would be the guy from my training flight, which his name is Timothy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I lost track of it, but his name is Timothy Graham. He's the one that kept me from quitting during training.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one would be probably my mom, because I remember we're close to my mom.
Yeah.
I was on the phone on the way up here.
Yeah.
And I talked to her every day.
That's awesome.
And
man.
she's still, Mom, hey, you need to you drink water today. Don't be driving fast. Make sure you leave on time. My mom is still thinks I'm like 19 or something. You know what I mean? So it'd be them, and basically it'd be both my mom and dad and Tim Graham.
Yeah.
Because my parents parented me all to this day. My mom still does, and my dad did all until the end. Mm. My dad had no problems with, hey son, you need to wash this truck. You spend money for the truck, and you ain't always, because my dad doesn't understand the concept of having a dirty car. Yeah. You need to wash this car. You need to cut that grass. You need to trim the trees in your backyard.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, Pop.
Yeah.
So I was parented it very well, which I'm grateful for that.
I love that.
Yeah, my mom and dad. My mom is mom to this day, and my dad was dad until the end. Yeah. He was like, you need to trim that beard. That doesn't look neat, I'm like, all right, Dad.
That's so brilliant, man. I like that. I can resonate because I still talk to my parents every day, and my mom is still my mom.
Yep.
Did you bring your lunch? What did you have for lunch?
Right.
My dad's the same way. My dad actually talks about washing the car, keeping your car clean.
Yep.
I remember growing up, my parents bought this house in Moore almost 20 something years ago, and instead of having people come out and spray for the weeds, mm-hmm. my brother and I would have to go out there every evening and pick weeds with my mm-hmm. parents. It's mm-hmm. thinking about it's like, man, it's almost like a bonding time, right?
Yep.
And then we'd lay sod
mm-hmm.
in certain areas, and instead of getting a presser to roll,
mm-hmm.
they'd make a step and walk, and
yep.
you had to flatten
yep.
it out,
yep.
and hand water it. Yeah, so
yep. That's great, man. That's family is everything.
Absolutely.
You always got to take the time, especially when you get my age and your parents get older.
Yeah.
You really value time with them.
Yeah.
I talk to my mom on the phone every day. She'll call me if I don't call her. Yesterday we drove down to Lawton to Medicine Park and hung out.
Yeah.
Went to the lake, looked at the lake, and just sit in the car and look at the lake and talk.
Yeah.
Me and my mom, that's because she's getting a little older now, so make sure now that I'm retired, I got a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
I go pick her up and we go do stuff, man. And I'm just grateful that I had parents to teach me to make good decisions.
So important.
Yep. Because I mean, the only difference between you and I and these people that are homeless or out there doing wrong is they made bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We're born the same.
Yeah.
A guy your age, born the same day you were born, and you sitting here, and he's where he's at in prison or shelter. It's just you made better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
He may be as smart as you.
Yeah.
But you made better decisions.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. And that's so I don't judge people, look down on homeless guys. I'm like, that guy. My dad would say, them guys out there, that's a whole lot of bad decision making. That's what he would tell me about homeless people.
Yeah.
A lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Ain't no better than you. A lot of bad decisions.
Right.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So I learned to make the best decisions that I could. I made some bad ones. Don't get me wrong. I made some terrible decisions. I ain't perfect, but I've learned. But I'm lucky enough to being able to have made mostly good decisions based on my parents teaching me the reasoning and how just having good common sense, make decent decisions. But I made some horrific decisions before also. So but for the most part, I think I've made mostly good decisions.
Yeah.
And a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
So lucky that it just wasn't anything criminal, anything that's gonna costed me like my freedom or anything.
Right.
But I've done some, being a young GI stationed overseas where 18 where it's legal to drink. You can imagine I made some dumb decisions. So I've made some stupid decisions that I'm lucky it didn't cost me my getting injured. Like I've got drunk in the club and rode home on a motorcycle and don't remember it.
Ooh,
fortunate. Dumb decision.
Yeah.
But someone was looking out for me, so I'm still here.
Yeah.
Literally got on the bike and rode about 10 miles. You left the club on your bike. I did. Yeah. Woke up next morning. laying on my bed, wearing my jacket, my helmet, my gloves, and I knock on the door, open my eyes, and I still got the helmet on. I'm like, I go to the door manager's like, hey man, you can't, that bike can't be here. I had to lean against the wall next to my room, next to my door.
Oh, man.
It was still running, but I guess it ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And the battery was dead. Tried to start, couldn't start it, so I pushed it out to the parking lot, and it was early in the morning, so you could see the trail through the grass. So I rode it through the grass. The key was in it. I just literally leaned against the wall in neutral, went in, laid down, and passed out, and it ran out of gas.
Wow.
And when it ran out of gas, the battery died.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I didn't die. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a 10-mile ride down the highway.
Yeah.
And I have no recollection of it. So that was my defining moment. That could be one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I literally didn't drink after that for like 5 years.
Yeah.
I said I didn't drink it ever again because I could have died. And I didn't drink any alcohol after that for like good 5 years. Literally.
Oh man.
So yeah.
Wow.
So yep. So I made some dumb decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's probably the most dumbest one that could have cost me my life was that. So I made some smaller ones that, they wasn't too bad, but that one was that was a doozy.
Yeah.
So as my parents were. So
wow. What are a couple questions that you wish people would actually ask Shannon, but no one ever bothers to ask him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I wish people would ask me, like, I'm very opinionated. So I wish, when I'm out or something and people are out talking around me, I wish people would ask me like my opinion. 'Cause I'm kind of quiet.
Yeah.
So I can be in the room and nobody will like, since I don't talk much, people don't see me there, I guess. So
Yeah.
so they don't ask me anything. But I wish they would ask me my opinion about, because I'm very opinionated about stuff. So I have, so just ask me what I think. I'll be glad to tell you.
Mm-hmm. So asking you just subject on, if we're having a discussion about race,
right?
Like, hey Shannon, what's your thoughts on racism or something like that?
Yeah.
Or what's your thought on politics or religion?
Right.
Yeah, include you, because if you're quiet, then no one's like,
they don't
should I ask him this? Or
Yeah.
I mean, I'm to the point where I would feel very comfortable asking you about it,
right?
Because I feel like you would give me a really good opinion, your opinion,
right?
And I feel like it'd be very logical and well thought out,
right?
Because I feel like you do a really good job of just listening to people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to hear people's opinions and stories and stuff, man. Oh yeah, I have no problem with it. And sometimes I have this, I call it a normal face.
Yeah.
Which my expressions, all of my ranges of emotions is the same face.
Yeah.
So people don't think I'm listening to them. But I hear everything people say. I mean, it'll be 20 years from now, I'll be able to tell you exactly everything you said on this podcast.
Yeah.
I went on a podcast 30 years ago with this guy named Wong, and he asked me, boom, 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 boom. Now you look at it and tell me if I'm wrong. You're right. You hit everything. So I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
I remember what we talked about. And so if people have something to say, I'm willing to listen to them.
Right on, man.
If it's something that's, off the wall and it makes sense, I'll go along with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to insult you. So you're stupid. I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll probably get less listen time next time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to insult anybody. I'll be like, well, yeah, man, I got to go. I got to get out of here. I heard that story last time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but if you got a good conversation, a good story about anything, I'm always willing to listen, because that's how you learn. Listen to people.
Yeah,
that's how you
absolutely.
learn stuff. So yeah, man, I think I'm a pretty good listener.
Yeah. When was the last time Shannon challenged himself with doing something he's never done before? What was the outcome, and what did you learn from it? I'm
currently challenging myself to write a memoir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not in my years as a detective, my weak part, my biggest struggle was being organized and admin.
Yeah.
I got it done, but it was like a deliberate, hard, focused effort. So now I'm trying to like self-pace myself and organize myself voluntarily without being forced by a supervisor to sit down every day and type X amount of words into a memoir.
Yeah.
And this is far out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because I probably toiled at this for about a month and probably wrote one paragraph. I'll be sitting at Starbucks typing, then I look at Facebook, I look at Instagram, I go order some more coffee, or I meet somebody, talk to somebody else sitting beside me.
Yeah.
And then I know 3 hours went by and I got this many words typed.
Wow.
So now I'm literally way out of my comfort zone in doing this. but I'm going to stick with it because I think it's a worthy project.
Yeah.
And it's just my new, getting out of my comfort zone deal. I want this, and I think I got some pretty cool stories to tell.
Yeah.
And I want to get them out there. And the only way I'm gonna get them out there is doing myself. And I'm not gonna hire a ghostwriter.
Right.
I'm gonna write them. I'm gonna type every word myself.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm making a point to type on it every day. At least 500 to 1,000 words every day if I can.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Man.
So I'm trying to. Yeah. I mean, I've got it organized into a quarter and every so many words every week. Dart kind of gave me a little bit of help with that. He's like, don't ever leave anything open ended. You type a memoir, set an end date, and this is how you do it. And so I'm doing it that way. And I'm just like, there's times where I'm at parts of my story where it's cool. I'm like,
yeah.
There's days that I'm really like, this is painful. I'm literally like one letter at a time.
Yeah.
Then I'll get to another cool part, some cool undercover story. Then I get to some lull. I'm like, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll look at the news. I'll put music on or something. So it's steady, and it's like grinding because it's not my thing that I thought I would do, but I promised myself that I would do it when I retired. So I never lie to myself or go back on my own promises to myself. So it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be hopefully published or whatever and see where it goes. But it's gonna at least get done.
That's awesome.
That
man.
I promise you. Yeah, I promise myself that it's going to get done.
Yeah.
So,
but what's one of your favorite habits since you retired?
My favorite deal since I retired is I get up in the morning and I don't feel rushed what to do. I get up in the morning and I just because I'm all about I'm a morning person.
Yeah.
So and I like to have my alone time in the morning. So my favorite deal is to get up and just make coffee and then just watch TV, and I get my daily news information, and then that hour alone time is my favorite part of the day. Yeah. Well, I'm not working on that memoir, right? So it's like recreation. It's like podcasts, news. It's like that's my hour. I like do what I want. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because everything else that I'm doing, other than going to VA, I like going to VA. But as far as my daily routine, I really enjoy getting up for that hour, drinking coffee, and having some recreational, whatever I want to do time, which is listen to podcasts or I'll listen to the news or something. Yeah. And so that's my favorite new habit of the day. Yeah. And I literally look forward to getting up in the morning to do that because my girlfriend goes to work at like 4. Yeah. So she's out of the house. It's just me and the dogs, and I'm just sitting there listening to music, drinking coffee. I mean, smoke a cigar in the morning or something. Nice. Just I got an hour to do whatever I want, or an hour and a half to do whatever I want, and I'm gonna do whatever I want. That's what I do. Yeah. And I enjoy it. Yeah. I kind of get focused for what's coming up next in the day. So it's my favorite thing, Yeah.
And you work out. You look like you bench about 450. What are you pushing now?
Weight bench, I don't know. I haven't max bench pressed in a long time. It's probably been a few years. I would guess I could probably still bench about 325, maybe. Man. Maybe. I mean, it's not nearly what it used to be. Yeah. I'm actually squatting now what I used to bench in my 20s. Yeah. But I don't have no need to go back there to that heavy weight anymore. But that was the weight that I squat now. Yeah. I used to bench that same weight. Everything is down like 150 pounds from my prime, I guess. You say. Yeah. Yeah. So. But it was just that lifestyle. The military guys, we all worked out, and it was just that's what we did. Yeah. So you get strong or not, but if you want to be strong, that group that I worked with, all we did was work out and eat, 3,000 calorie meals from the chow hall, and just get bigger and bigger, So.
Do you feel like when you go work out at the gym at Athlete Inc., do you feel like more of a coach motivator? I'm going to help you get through this type of person?
Sometimes I am, and some days it's the opposite. I mean, I work out with a lot of athletic young people. Yeah, and most days I found myself chasing them because they're like much faster and younger than me, and they're way more athletic than me. Every once in a while, on some of the HIIT workouts when we have a group workouts, and you get in with some of the housewives or some of the guys that ain't worked out in a while, I'll find myself there. Come on, man, we got one more round to go. Right. We can do it. For the most part, it's them yelling at me. Yeah. Come on, Shannon. And it's not yelling at me because I'm not motivated, because I'm way slower than them. Yeah. And they're like, they're done, and I'm still chugging away at it. And they're like, come on, Shannon, go, Yeah. So, but and that's my positivity group too. So I got that balance. I got my old guys that I talk to that are kind of like negative, they got these life problems. these guys are all like college grad. They're all like upward bound and positive, and so that's where I get that positive energy from.
Yeah.
So and just in working out, talking to them, everybody's got a story. Yeah, I'm just graduated college and I'm gonna be this big time, whatever. I'm like, and that's all. That's to me, that's important for me to have because I don't want to just hang out with just a bunch of negative guys my age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's balance.
Right.
So and they all they all often ask me questions about stuff, like life stuff, and I'll tell them, if I can, I'll help them out if I can.
Yeah.
But for the most part, man, that's a real positive group. I go there for the workout and the positive energy from just these young, upward bound. They're all going somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're real positive and motivated. Yeah. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like to read, and do you watch movies?
I watch movies every once in a while.
Right.
Yep.
So then my question is, in your season of your life right now, what chapter from a book or a scene from a movie best represents your life right now?
Well, one of my favorite movies, my top 5 favorite movies is Tombstone. Wyatt Earp.
Yeah. And
there's that scene where they come into town, him and his brothers on the stagecoach, and they get off the stagecoach and they look around and trying to figure out what's next, where they're going to go in life, and because they all retired from being police or sheriffs or what have you, and they have this history of being these law enforcement guys, and I feel like that's where I'm at.
Nice.
I'm at the point to where they remember that point when they went into the saloon and the guy and they took the shotgun from the guy and all that.
Yeah.
I think I'm about right in midst of that little struggle right there.
Yeah.
But it's positive though. It's not a bad struggle.
I get it.
Yeah. So I'm off the stagecoach.
Yep.
I've looked around. Now what am I going to do? And I start plotting and planning my new life, and I feel like that's where I'm at now.
Man, I love that.
Yeah.
You get off the stagecoach. You're looking around the town. Who can I help? How are we going to clean this thing up and bring everyone up? Yeah,
bring everybody up, and then everybody and the sheriff, and he's keep getting all these offers to be a cop.
Yeah.
No, I'm retired.
Yeah.
And I've gotten several offers by friends of mine that are police chiefs, or even at the VA police, they found out they offered me, hey, we got some police officers opened up. Like, nope, done with police work.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's an ideal thing. That's literally where I'm at, because I'm literally getting offers to work security and police and stuff, and I'm like, nope. I want to do something different. So I think Wyatt Earp came to town to do something different. He ended up opening up a saloon. Well, he was in numerous things. That's kind of like where I feel like I'm at now.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite movies.
Wow.
I've probably seen it like 20 times.
Oh yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. That and The Shawshank Redemption.
Yep, that's another real good one. That probably should be my top 5 one also.
Yeah.
So very
that's
good
awesome,
movie.
Man.
Yep.
From the Air Force to OCPD, FBI, DEA, rugby, you contribute going to the VA hospital and hanging out with veterans and listening to their stories, sharing stories. Now, what are you most proud of in your life right now?
My biggest pride now is both my adult kids are doing well.
Yeah.
I feel like they're well raised, and I got a granddaughter. And I feel like my son and daughter-in-law have her going the right way at 4 years old. And I just want to be like, I always say the best thing we can do, like after my dad died, I got a lot of thinking. And the best thing you can do for your late relatives is to remember them.
Yeah.
Just remember them, stories about whatever. So I would like my granddaughter and my kids to remember me like in a positive way.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, and say, hey, look, my dad used to tell me, or my grandpa used to tell me this or tell me that or whatever, and I want to share my old life stories and police stories and military stories I want them to know about that like after I'm gone. You know what I mean? Because I know about my grandfather's past, and I want my granddaughter and my kids to know about my past in as much detail as possible, like after I'm gone.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest deal. I want to have a positive. I want my granddaughter and kids to have a positive memory about me and know about me after I'm gone. So
I like that, man.
Yep. Just remember me.
Yeah.
I want my family to remember me.
Yeah.
That's it. So yep.
So you want them to remember you. How do you want them to remember you as?
Just as being like hardworking, being honest, being a risk taker, and just being courageous and brave and taking the risk and doing the difficult things, and not just being a kind of idle and a guy that's settled. I want to always do the best I can.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to do the, you know, just being a, you know, being a military person, a police officer, doing the right thing, being brave, you know, standing up for weaker people.
Yeah.
You know, helping people out, because my grandparents helped a lot of people out.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be known as just all around positive guy and an inspiration.
Yeah.
So say my grandfather used to be a police officer, whatever. So I decided I might join the military also.
That's awesome, man.
You know, something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, just the way you choose to remember your grandparents. You know, like in a positive way.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
What's the path forward for Shannon?
I'm just going to keep hammering away on this memoir, keep volunteering at VA, and just keep helping people wherever I can.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can pull somebody up, or if I can hold the door open, or give a recommendation or a referral or whatever to whoever I can do it, then I will.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, that's all I want to do. Just help people whenever I can. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
No phone number. How do our listeners get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook at Shannon McCarty. My daughter's name's Shannon McCarty, so you'll see the female. I'm not the female Shannon McCarty. I'm the male Shannon McCarty.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, it's at fresh_morning_coffee.
Yeah.
All lowercase.
Yeah. Why fresh morning coffee?
That came up kind of like I guess a good word for it is organically.
Okay.
One morning I'm having coffee with my daughter, and it's morning. And she's on the phone with somebody talking on the phone. Evidently, someone asked her, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm having a fresh morning coffee with my father." And then I took a picture of my coffee and put fresh morning coffee, and that was probably 10 years ago, because she was like in, I think still even in high school then.
That's awesome.
And it's been fresh morning coffee ever since.
I love it, man.
And it just came up. And you can go back 10 years on Facebook and see Fresh Morning Coffee from like 2009 or 2010 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for your time, your selfless sacrifice to our great country,
Appreciate
your
it.
service to our great country, this blossoming friendship. I've texted you that numerous times.
Yes.
This amazing energy exchange.
Yeah, and I really value that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good conversation, man. I love it. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you too, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Last question. Shannon, do you approve this podcast?
I'm Shannon McCarty, and I approve this podcast.
My name is Wong Lam, and I approve this podcast. This is
so
awesome, man.
Yes, sir. It's awesome.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your encouragement, your smile, and your enthusiasm from the first time we met to current day, which has been about 6 months. I look forward to our friendship, the bond that gets stronger each time we share a text, each time we share an Instagram post, just each time I get to see you and we give that bro hug. I love you, man.